Hey there, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode of our 10 Weather Chat. This week, though, we're going to wait on the weather part of this chat and discuss earthquakes. Because we just had one down in the Southern Gulf on Monday, June 28th, or June 8th. June 28th, I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Jumping into the future.
Sorry, June 8th. And let me go ahead and just kind of show folks first on a graphic kind of where that was. So it was in the Southern Gulf. It was a magnitude 6.1 earthquake, which is huge for this region. And it's interesting to even have an earthquake here. They're very rare in the Gulf because this is not a tectonic plate boundary. It's kind of in the middle of a plate. So very rare to happen. It happened right off the coast of Cuba. But all of those little squares that everybody can see in Florida, those are shake reports. And you have a friend down in the Tampa area who felt it, right?
Yes. So my friend Zuleika Soler, she's a meteorologist at WFLA. FLA. God,
Yes.
Transpose a little bit. But she's a meteorologist down there, and she was working, I believe, at the time, and she felt the quake. And I was like, texting me, I was like, were you scared? Like, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind? And she was like, yeah, I was just thinking, oh, this is strange. This has to be an earthquake. And I was like, wow, that's crazy experience.
Which she's in Florida, so she's like,
Yes.
this is not normal.
Oh, she's like, I'm not in California. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and WFLA, if I remember correctly, is in kind of a high-rise building. So the higher up you are, the more of the sway you get.
Yes.
Which is actually what happened in Miami. They ended up evacuating some buildings just because they were concerned about the structural integrity. They were okay. But yeah, that earthquake happened on Monday, the 8th, at about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. We also had those seismic waves register on seismographs here in East Tennessee. This is a look at a seismograph down near Greenback. So each of the little colored lines represents a 15-minute time frame. 1400 is 2 p.m. on the left-hand side, and that black line is the beginning of the 1400 hour. All of a sudden, notice those giant squiggles that are happening in the minute there. It took 3.5 minutes for the energy waves from that earthquake to move from the Southern Gulf and register here in East Tennessee.
That's impressive.
It's so cool.
Yes.
I just love how it's all connected. Even the large quake that was in the Philippines last week or over the weekend, it registered on our seismographs. I just didn't grab it quick enough. But we didn't feel any of that, of course, here because it's deep within the rocks. So I wanted to ask you, have you felt an earthquake before?
Yes, I have felt an earthquake before. It actually was kind of a bit of a national news event because obviously everyone knows I'm from the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. And it was the earthquake back in 2011 in August. And that's the infamous quake that ended up cracking the Washington Monument. And I remember I'm homeschooled, so my mom had me.
I am also homeschooled.
I never knew this.
I'm not currently.
I mean, neither am I currently.
In school at home.
Okay, pause 1 second.
Yeah,
I need to.
Daniel?
I feel like I need to investigate this
I didn't mean to
further.
completely derail the story. I just wanted to show some support.
Wait, how long were you homeschooled for, though?
I was homeschooled at home through 6th grade, and then I was with kind of a homeschool group, college prep school through graduation.
So cool.
What did you do in high school? Did you go to public school in high school?
No. It's just kind of a small homeschool group. Usually families with homeschool backgrounds, but they brought their kids to this college prep school.
Oh, okay.
Shout out
All the way
Heritage
through.
Classical Study Center, Lilburn, Georgia.
So
Go Dogs.
Cool. Go dogs. So cool. I was homeschooled from literally, I went to school for like 6 months in kindergarten. And then my mom was like, oh, I can do better. And she just homeschooled my twin brother and I all the way through high school.
Wow.
So my first real public school experience was actually going to college, strangely enough.
Wow, that must have been a shock.
It was like, oh, wow, I have to keep up and take my notes. I can't rewind videos and rewind a streaming video with my professor. I have to catch this in the moment. If I don't catch it, that's it.
It's gone, yeah. I actually went to a small private school, had uniforms all the way through 8th grade, and then I went to public high school, which was also a shock.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what these words are that everyone's saying. Wait, what's that music? We weren't allowed to listen to that.
Oh my goodness.
I would like to apologize to the audience for derailing a very riveting earthquake story to talk about our school background.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry. But earthquakes. So you felt the one in D.C. Tell me what that was like.
So my family, my mom and my twin brother and I, we were at, this is why we got derailed by the homeschooling, because we were at like some type of homeschooling book event. So like different curriculums and stuff that you can pick and choose for your kids or whatnot to use to school them. And we were inside a hotel for that event. And I remember like we just heard the actual rumbling, and we felt the shaking, and we saw the chandeliers in the room kind of begin to sway.
Yeah.
And I remember I can't remember how old I was. I can't remember vividly. Math, it's a little difficult. Y'all can do the math. I'm 28 now. This is 2011 when this happened. So you guys can figure that out.
Someone else do it.
Yeah, but
Daniel?
Daniel, how old was I?
Math?
How old were you in 2011?
Yes, I'm 28 right now.
Yeah, then you were 15 years younger than you were.
Oh, okay.
So you're probably like 13?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Thanks, Daniel. People are learning so much. We're like, yeah, we're homeschooled and went to private school, and we can't do math. Yeah. We don't know how old we are.
Don't worry, homeschoolers can do math.
Hey, we can.
We can.
I got through meteorology. Okay,
everything's fine.
I had to do some math.
Yes.
But anyway, I remember seeing the chandeliers just sway right above me, and my mom was like, "Julia, come over here, come over here." And then we ran outside, and then it only lasted for like maybe less than a minute or something. Yeah. And then my mom I kind of like went through her mind a little bit and asked her, like, what did you think it was initially? She said, at first I was thinking, like, are we nearby train tracks? Is there a train going by that's us moving quickly? And then I remember where we were, and like, there are no train tracks here. It's almost like a process of elimination checkbox of what this could be. And then finally landing on, this is an earthquake. Yeah.
Most people probably have a similar reaction because earthquakes are not predictable. So all of a sudden the earth moves under your feet. I'm not going to sing to everybody for that one, but all of a sudden you feel it and just... It's kind of disorienting. I felt a quake in when I was actually in college in 2006. We had an earthquake in the Gulf. At the continental shelf, there was a landslide. It didn't cause a tsunami, but it shook everything. And that was exactly the reaction. Everybody was like, what just happened? And I remember my closet doors had mirrors on them at my apartment in Tallahassee, and they were shaking like this. And I remember watching that happen and being like, this is weird. It's
just so interesting. I feel like anyone, obviously, if you don't live in an area that's prone to getting like earthquakes that are like to the magnitude where you can actually feel them. Yeah. It's such a puzzling moment because you are literally just going through the process of elimination of like what it could and couldn't be before you arrive to like, oh, this is actually an earthquake that's happening right now. And I feel like by the time you mostly realize that, it's over already.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the news reports start going, and now everybody has felt it. And then in D.C., in that situation in 2011, it actually cracked the National Monument.
Yes, it did. It cracked the Washington Monument. That's what kind of made ours a bigger national story.
Yeah, but it was also a big earthquake. It was like a 5.8.
Yes, it was. It was pretty massive. It was. And I think the center point was somewhere in Virginia. And then I remember too, I feel like I hope I'm not misremembering this, but I feel like that also kind of like pushed a conversation about the idea of fracking and whether or not that can cause a correlation of earthquakes. Because then I remember there was a lot of more think pieces and a lot of more opinions about that and whether or not there was a correlation to that particular earthquake happening.
Very interesting. And we, of course, have earthquakes here in East Tennessee. We have usually small ones, but anything above about a 3, we can feel it here. And we've had several since I've lived here. Also, I felt them, and also very disorienting. Sometimes there is a very sharp sound associated with it. We had one in May of last year, and I had so many people in my neighborhood group messaging and being like, did a car just hit one of the houses? Because it just sounded like you heard it, this real sharp sound, and then everything shook.
Interesting.
And so people just like you said, didn't know how to make it make sense in their heads about what could have caused that, I guess, feeling and sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, last year's I think was the 5th largest that we've had, strongest, I guess, in East Tennessee. So crazy stuff going on. And you know what? We have chatted so long about this. Do you want to talk about temperatures?
I'm down. I love these temperatures, so I'm down to talk about
it. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and say real quick, we're getting our earliest sunrises of the year right now, which is great for you and I on the morning shift.
Yes.
Although I do love a good late sunset, and I have to go to bed before the sun goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not the best time of year to be on the morning shift, but that's okay. For those of you who get to stay up at night, enjoy those late sunsets. I know Todd does. And then as far as our temperatures go, so today, Tuesday, is our average high of 85. We go into the upper 80s by the end of this month, and then once we're into July and August, she's dancing already. She's so excited. We're in the upper 80s, like 88, 89 degrees. All the way through mid-August, almost the end of August. And so you're doing a dance of joy.
Yes, I am.
Because she loves the warm temperatures.
A little shimmy.
A little shimmy of happiness there. For those that don't love warm temperatures, sometimes we get breaks in the heat.
My condolences. I don't cause it. I'm excited about it, but I don't make this happen.
Just a messenger. Similar to the way it's so soupy outside right now. If we can get those warm temperatures, but a break in the humidity. It is.
I would be
amazing.
down for that. I would.
It's so nice.
Yes, I'm not. I understand humidity is uncomfortable for most. I'm not the hugest, biggest fan of it. It doesn't bother me. Like I feel it when I go outdoors. But my biggest complaint, I think, when it comes to humidity is just the hair.
The hair.
Yeah. It makes me a little bit harder to keep my curl definition. But we get more poofy. But that's okay.
That's okay.
We make it work.
It still looks beautiful. Either way. And for other people that have the sweat factor.
Oh, yeah.
Like, sorry to you folks as well. Having to deal with that too. So go out in the early mornings or in the evenings. I love a good warm summer evening. But yeah, that's our temperature trend as we go through the rest of this month and into the rest of meteorological summer. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of our 10 Weather Chat. Unless there's something else you want to add?
No, I think that does it for me.
Perfect. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll keep you up to date on any other earthquakes if they happen around the world.